Mia's mom wanted the attic cleaned. It had been years since anyone had ventured up there, and it was time to clear out the clutter. It was full of old things, relics from the past that had been long forgotten. Boxes were piled high and old furniture was scattered around. Mia didn't mind, she liked exploring. The attic was like a treasure trove to her, filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The attic was dusty and dark, with only a small window letting in a sliver of light. The air was thick with the smell of old wood and forgotten memories. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, swaying gently in the draft. They added to the eerie yet fascinating atmosphere of the attic. Mia coughed as she entered, the dust tickling her throat. She took a deep breath and ventured further in, her curiosity driving her forward. Old furniture loomed in the shadows, their shapes barely discernible. Boxes were stacked high, some almost reaching the ceiling. Mia saw a trunk tucked in a corner, partially hidden by an old blanket. It looked ancient, and she wondered what secrets it held. She brushed the dust off its lid, revealing intricate carvings. The trunk creaked open, the sound echoing in the silent attic. Inside, under old clothes, lay a doll. It was nestled among other forgotten items, as if waiting for someone to find it. It was a porcelain doll, its delicate features still visible despite the layers of dust. Its dress was faded and torn, a testament to the many years it had been hidden away. The doll's eyes were closed, giving it an almost peaceful appearance. Mia wondered who it had belonged to and what stories it could tell. Mia carefully picked it up. The doll felt cold to the touch, its porcelain surface smooth and fragile. Mia blew the dust off its face, revealing its painted features. She could see the craftsmanship that had gone into making it. She knew she had to take it with her. The doll was a link to the past, a piece of history that she wanted to preserve. As she carried it down from the attic, she felt a connection to the people who had once owned it, and she knew that this discovery was just the beginning of a new adventure. The doll's eyes opened slowly, almost as if it were waking up from a long slumber. When Mia sat on her bed, clutching the doll tightly in her small hands, they were a piercing blue, so vivid and lifelike that they seemed to hold secrets of their own. They seemed to follow Mia wherever she moved, as if the doll was alive and watching her every step. She felt a chill run down her spine, a shiver of unease that she couldn't quite shake off. The doll was beautiful, but strange. Its delicate features were almost too perfect, giving it an eerie, otherworldly quality. Mia decided to clean the doll, hoping that by taking care of it she might feel more at ease. She found a small brush and gently cleaned the doll's hair, each stroke making the auburn strands shine. It was a rich auburn color, reminiscent of autumn leaves, and it felt surprisingly soft to the touch. The doll's face was pale, almost ghostly, with a smooth porcelain finish that seemed to glow in the dim light. Its lips were painted a deep red, a stark contrast to its pale complexion, giving it an almost lifelike appearance. They were curved into a slight smile, a smile that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. "I'll call you Anya," Mia whispered, her voice barely audible in the quiet room. She felt a strange connection to the old doll, as if it had been waiting for her all this time. Mia placed Anya on her bedside table, right next to her favorite storybooks and a small nightlight. She turned off the light and went to sleep, the room now bathed in the soft glow of the nightlight, casting shadows that danced on the walls. As she drifted off, she couldn't shake the feeling that Anya's eyes were still watching her, keeping silent vigil through the night. The next morning, something was different. Mia noticed it immediately. Anya was not in the same position. She was now facing Mia. Her blue eyes seemed to stare. Mia shivered. Had Anya moved? She couldn't have. It was just an old doll. Mia went about her day. She tried to forget about the doll, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. That night, Mia made sure Anya was facing away from her bed. She didn't want those blue eyes watching her. A sound woke Mia up. It was a whisper, a soft, breathy whisper. It seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. Mia lay in bed listening. Her heart pounded in her chest. The whispering grew louder. Mia could almost make out words, but she couldn't understand them. She pulled the covers over her head. She squeezed her eyes shut. The whispering stopped. Mia slowly peeked out from under the covers. The room was silent, but she felt a presence. She wasn't alone. Section 5. The Moving Doll. Mia tiptoed to the door. She needed to tell her parents. As she passed her bedside table, she glanced at Anya. The doll was gone. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Where could it be? Then she saw her. Anya was on the floor. She was lying face down. It was as if she had fallen from the table, but that wasn't possible. Mia knew she had left Anya sitting on the table. Mia ran to her parents' room. She pounded on their door. "Mom! Dad!" she cried. "There's something wrong with the doll." Section 6. Parents don't believe. Mia's parents did not believe her. They told her it was just a bad dream. "Dolls can't move," her father said. "Go back to sleep, Mia." Mia tried to explain about the whispering, but her parents didn't listen. They thought she was letting her imagination run wild. Mia knew they wouldn't understand. She was on her own. Mia went back to her room. She picked up Anya and put her back on the bedside table. "Please," she whispered, "leave me alone." Section 7. Sleepless nights. The whispering continued every night. Sometimes Mia thought she heard giggling. It was a child's giggle, high-pitched and chilling. Mia was terrified. She stopped going to sleep. She would lie awake, staring at Anya. The doll's blue eyes seemed to glow in the dark. Mia felt like she was being watched. She was trapped in a nightmare. One night, Mia heard something move in her room. She froze, her heart pounding. She slowly turned her head towards the sound. Section 8. A terrifying sight. Anya was sitting on her bed. She was facing Mia. Her blue eyes were wide open, and her lips, they were moving. Mia watched in horror as the doll's mouth opened and closed. It was as if Anya was speaking. "Play with me," Anya whispered. Her voice was a raspy, chilling sound. Mia screamed. She jumped out of bed and backed away. She tripped over a rug and fell to the floor. She scrambled to her feet and ran from the room. Section 9. Mia's decision. Mia couldn't take it anymore. She knew what she had to do. She waited until her parents were out of the house. Then she went back to her room. She took a deep breath and picked up Anya. "It's over," she whispered to the doll. She walked to the trash can and threw Anya inside. Mia slammed the lid shut. She felt a surge of relief. The nightmare was finally over. Mia left the room and went downstairs. She sat on the couch and turned on the TV. She tried to forget about Anya. Section 10. The disappearance. Later that day, Mia's mom asked her about the doll. "Where's Anya?" she asked. "I haven't seen her around." Mia's blood ran cold. I threw her away," she stammered. "She was old and broken." Mia's mom frowned. "You shouldn't throw away your toys," she said. "Go get her and I'll put her in the attic." Mia slowly climbed the stairs to her room. She didn't want to go back, but she had to. She opened the trash can. It was empty. Section 11. The Return. Mia's heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing like a drum in the silence of the night. She could feel the cold sweat trickling down her back, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. She dug through the trash, her hands trembling and her mind racing, but Anya was gone. The doll that had been her constant companion, her confidant, had vanished without a trace. She ran back to her parents, her face pale with terror. "She's gone!" she cried. "The doll is gone!" Her voice was a desperate plea, a cry for help that seemed to fall on deaf ears. Her parents didn't believe her. They exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of annoyance and disbelief. To them, it was just another one of Mia's overactive imaginations. They thought she was just trying to get out of trouble. "Mia, enough with the stories," her father said sternly. "You need to take responsibility for your things," her mother added, her tone equally firm. They sent her to her room, dismissing her fears as childish nonsense. Mia trudged up the stairs, her heart heavy with a mix of fear and frustration. Mia sat on her bed, tears streaming down her face. She hugged her knees to her chest, feeling utterly alone and helpless. The room seemed to close in around her, the shadows growing longer and more menacing. She was too scared to move. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the curtains sent a shiver down her spine. Then, she saw it. Anya was sitting on her bedside table. The doll's presence was both familiar and terrifying, a silent sentinel in the dim light. Her blue eyes were fixed on Mia, unblinking and cold. They seemed to bore into her soul, seeing every fear, every doubt. And this time there was no mistaking the smile on her painted lips. It was a smile that spoke of secrets and shadows, of things best left unspoken. It was a cruel, knowing smile. Mia was trapped. She felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that Anya had returned, and this time, there was no escape.